Welcome back, Fanatics. I hope you've had a chance to watch our video from last week because we kind of stirred up some shit.
Yeah, got into a little bit of it with Marvel Legends versus DC Multiverse.
Yeah, the comments have exploded. Now, let me just be upfront and honest from the beginning. I'm still Team Marvel Legends. I do like Marvel Legends more, but now having more of these in hand, I'm starting to be a little impressed by what they do offer. I'm coming around to it a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously they're still not 100% perfect, and neither is Marvel Legends, but it's nice to see the line kind of grow as we move forward, so it's really exciting, especially to have a high-quality DC figure now.
Now, as you can see, Brighton's brought a bunch over, I've bought a bunch more, and let's get into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this is Fanatic Now.
All right, so let's get into the first box. Josh, where's that? Batman from the new Batman movie. Let's get Josh over here, all right? All right, so now that you're over here, let's crack this bad boy open.
Have you seen the movie yet?
Obviously, yeah, I had to have seen it. What do you mean?
Just kidding, we saw it together.
What do you mean, have I seen the movie yet? Yes,
So-
I've seen the movie.
I may say a few things about the movie, but don't worry, there will be no spoilers about the movie on here. This isn't a movie review or anything, but it was a good movie. It was really good.
It was really good, and I was super excited to get to watch it. I will probably make a judgment call and say that it is my second favorite Batman movie.
It could very well be my second favorite Batman movie.
Do we want to try to get this bad boy
There are
out?
things about production design, sound design about that movie that's just, it's Oscar worthy. It did have some issues, but not with those. Alright, so this doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure or anything like that. This is just a standalone line. It comes with what? Catwoman, Penguin, the Riddler, and a Bat Cycle.
Yeah.
I'm still new to this shit, guys, so I'm learning as we go. Alright, let's crack her open.
Before we do crack it open, I do want to say that this is the first part of a line. Todd McFarlane earlier this week with the release of the movie came out with the second line, which is going to be like a new release line with a few different figures with a few different looks. So yeah, let's crack into this bad boy. All right. We have the head, which can get pretty 360. Got a nice bend to the left, to the right. Nothing super deep. And you also don't get a super good point up or point down there, which sucks because he literally comes with a grappling gun. So his main job is to look directly up like this, and we cannot get him to really go. And most of that's due to the fact of the cape in the background. The cape and the cowl seem to kind of collide with each other, causing that a little bit of problem. Elbows, great. Got a double hinged elbow where you can pretty much get a full bicep curl there. You do have the ball joint inside between the hand and arm, which is alright, nothing special about that. Double socketed ball joint over in the shoulders. You can get about that high without forcing it too much. I mean, if I messed with it a little bit longer, I might be able to get him in a better, but not much. And then you have a bit of an ab crunch, but nothing too spectacular. Got a little bit of twist in the hips. Definitely can go pretty wide with the legs as well as with this knee joint. Since it's double hinged, we can get it pretty much nice little high kick there in the ass. And then, as what we've seen with all McFarlane toys, you got that nice little toe hinge down there at the bottom. But yet again, we just have that ball hinge in the ankle. Can't get much range out of it, but you can get a little. The sculpt looks phenomenal though. Something that McFarlane is always known to do well. I mean, you can literally see the leather look of the cowl and the stitching in it.
Yeah, everything that's clothing and armor, I think the sculpting is perfection. The only thing, he doesn't need much paint. The paint of the skin looks kind of awkward to me, but I guess Robert Pattinson does have awkward looking skin, so maybe it's accurate.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. McFarlane, as far as doing faces, isn't really killer at it. Now, granted, they also don't have like the face scan technology that that Hasbro does. So that could be a little bit to it, but all in all, you're right. He does look a little off, especially in that department. And being a movie figure, you kind of want to kill it on the face. Like, that's kind of the point of buying a movie figure. But yeah, other than that, the paint in other areas, like the paint on his gauntlets, do look really good. Silver pops. But yeah.
Yeah. Articulation, good, not great. Sculpt, paint, pretty much perfect outside of the face. All right, what do we have next, Brighton? The Riddler from the Batman. So once again, this is coming from the new movie. Let's go ahead and get Brighton back over here.
All right, cool. All right,
so another movie figure.
Yeah, this one of the Riddler this time, so the antagonist of the Batman film.
What's his name? Dano, who played this part. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. Again, we're not going to go into spoilers here, but...
And he did a good job for somebody who wears a mask the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Where he has to pretty much just emote from his voice and his like body language.
I was going to say, everybody wants to compare this to The Dark Knight. And rightfully so, because they're both very good movies with Batman, so obviously it's going to draw comparisons. He did not give a Heath Ledger level Joker performance, in my opinion, but it's because the movie didn't need that of him.
Yeah.
He was more in the shadows. He wasn't that brazen going out and facing all the other villains from Gotham, one-on-one.
Yeah.
He was in the shadows. You were hearing mostly voices and reading letters, so he did a great job for what was asked of him.
Yeah. And you didn't get any I know one major concern of a lot of people was with that whole like face mask he has, the Bane effect, where he ends up sounding like he's and we didn't get that, so that's good.
Now, is this from the same line?
Same exact line.
Okay. Catwoman, the Penguin, yo. All right. I didn't know if they had like released 2 waves at the same time or something.
This is the first wave, and then the second wave was just announced earlier this week.
Then let's get into it.
All in all, I'm going to talk about sculpt and paint real quick. All in all, the sculpt looks really good. I'll give him that. The jacket looks great. The face mask looks really, really good. As far as paint goes, we do get some really cool little paint effects like there. And right around the jacket and that fur. I did notice something the other day though, and if you get really close and look at his hair is not quite painted all that well, so that's a little disappointing. I do like that you do have that clear look through, which is great.
Yeah, that's for the plastic wrap look.
So that does look good, it's just the problem is underneath it is what doesn't look good. And then this one does have a bicep split, which is something we don't see often on McFarlane toys. He also has a double hinged elbow, which is great. You can get it all nice and high. The wrists are ball joints. Now the problem with this is we'll have to see. Can I get him to do a full bicep crunch like I can Batman? Yes, I can. Pretty much looks like he just broke his arm, but that's perfectly fine. That's what we want to see with that articulation. His head is stiff. There is very little movement in that head. Any movement that I do get, it doesn't always want to stay in place. So that's partially to probably the ball joint inside, but also he's just covered in plastic, so it's really hard to get his kind of head to stay there. You don't get much range of motion.
And obviously, just looking at it, there's nothing in the abdomen or anything. The coat's going to stop all movement there.
Yep. You're not going to...
Now, the Riddler doesn't need a whole lot of movement to be accurate to the movie. And when you look at all the details they put on it, it is matching the movie really well. My issue with this, and this isn't a McFarlane or a Hasbro thing, when you try to be movie accurate and it's a bland color, dark movie adaptation, there's not a lot of things you can do to make a figure pop, which is just a personal preference. I like when figures pop. There's nothing about this that pops, but it is movie accurate.
And then, as you're saying with that, not only does the jacket impede the ab crunch, but it also impedes hip movement. So again, like you said, we're not like, you're not gonna have Riddler out here doing the splits, but he definitely can't get his legs open that wide. And his knees, much like what we saw with Batman, he is able to kick himself in the ass, which is great. That's what we like to see there. Ball joint in the ankle, as well as the toe joint there at the toe to make him look like he's in a dynamic pose. Not that that's super necessary, but yeah. All right. And he's got this nice little attachment, which if you've seen the movie, you know what it is. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah. All right. All right. Move on to the next one. Oh, all right. We got us the Batman Who Laughs and the Robins from Earth 2022. Hey, Josh, you can come on over. All righty. Yeah, so we got us some Robins here and the Batman Who Laughs. Lovely story about these guys. The Robins were $20 each, and the Batman was $20 each. And
this is actually the first DC Multiverse I personally purchased. Because of the story you're talking about. I kept seeing people from, 2020?
Yeah,
buying
2020.
These. And were they all for $20 each? So basically it's $80 worth?
Yep.
They came with a little bit extra, maybe? Something?
I don't even think they came up with a little bit extra, because this also has the chains in it. So it honestly doesn't fully matter, because most of it is still the same. First and foremost, sculpt. That sculpt is immaculate.
Beautiful.
That, like, just the leather look of it, the straps, the buckles, the teeth on this Joker. I mean, man. As we've said in the Legends versus DC Multiverse, McFarlane knows how to do a Joker.
Yeah.
And this is a very obvious point to make, because just the paint as well looks phenomenal on this guy.
Once he leaves the realm of human accuracy and he can get exaggerated, monstrous, anything like that, he kills it.
And all in all, this guy looks really good. I really love how he looks. The tattered cloak at the bottom, man, like, look at that. The scratches.
Lots of texture down there.
This figure just blows me away. He's got a bicep cut. He can get his elbow all the way up and touch his nice little shoulder there. It doesn't look too bad when it's bent that much. The ball joint in the hand does look a little awkward because he has a bit of a thinner arm. So it kind of is very, very noticeable.
Yeah, the arms don't look amazing to me in action.
Mm-hmm. And then you have this great head, and you can actually get some range into it, which was surprising. The little collar there is pliable enough that you can actually get pretty much a full range of motion out of this head. So a lot of care was put into this figure. I will point out though, he has this cut into his hip joints here. That's not quite flattering of a look. Normally you get like a hip joint there, and it kind of is and kind of isn't.
It's a weird choice they made. It's like they half went with what they've been doing and then tried something a little different there.
So I'm not sure why they went with it, and regardless of that, you can't get his legs out pretty crazily. You can get pretty high forward and backwards though.
Yeah.
It's got that toe joint as always, and the ball joint in the ankle, which actually isn't super noticeable with that whole boot look he has going on down there.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me down there.
But yeah, all in all, with the exception of this weird situation that's going on here, and the fact that, as we've stated before, you can't really get much ab crunch with this covering here, he's a pretty damn good fig. sort of similar with the Batman Who Laughs. These guys look pretty fucking awesome.
The paint and texture right off the beginning just pop.
Like, it's creepiness to the max. The scallop look on his pants there, the utility belt, the Robin logo, everything. His hair, the color to his hair, the scratches on the capes, they look good.
The way the paint all over his skin looks so thin, so you can see through the paint.
It's just all in all a really good looking figure. But that's about where it ends.
Yeah, he looks great. Ooh, these joints, the feet.
He's got a single joint elbow. The gloves cover his hands in that ball joint where you can get a little flexibility out of it, but not much. The head does get a nice full swivel up, down, all around. The knee, single joint. The feet are kind of stiff with that high boot collar it has there. And you obviously have your toe joint as always. But you don't really get much else. You can get a little flex and move out of his body. But as somebody who's supposed to be a gremlin, he should be able to go into some crazy poses. And I don't feel like we could get him into anything too ridiculous.
Yeah, like for as beautiful as he is, he really needs almost like a Spider-Man Nightcrawler type of body mold where he can really get every which way. He doesn't even look like his legs can go all the way straight. Like he can't even stand all the way up, which I guess works fine enough for his like little Gollum-like positions that he would be in, but you don't really have a straight leg option. All right, what do we have next? Oh, it's a beast. And he's with Superman. All right, we got the Batman Earth 1 and Superman. What? All right, let's bring Brighton in.
All right, so that's Devastator.
Yeah.
I know it says Batman Earth 1.
I was looking for his
like,
name on it. I was like, Batman Earth 1
Devastator? Yeah. So, yep, Devastator.
Is Devastator even mentioned anywhere on this?
No.
All right.
But I'm pretty sure that's Devastator. I
didn't
could be
read
wrong.
Earth 1. I didn't read it and I really wish I had read Batman Earth 1 because one of my friends said that there's some clues in the new Batman movie from Earth 1. And I've read Year 1, and I've read Long Halloween, so I've gotten a lot of those hints from the new movie, but apparently there's some tie-in to Earth 1.
All right, so here we have Devastator. He looks really fucking good. This may be my most favorite figure we've looked at today. I mean, the sculpt on this dude alone, the ripped jeans, the texture, the paint symbol on his chest, just all in all, this looks like a mean mother.
Yeah, a lot of sculpting there. Tons of sculpt work.
I mean, I just love, the more and more I look at this guy, the more I find that I love about the look of him. Like, he looks like high quality design. And he is a hefty boy. The only problem is, I feel like we might run into some of the King Shark issues, but let's see. We do have this double ball joint shoulder like we see on most of the other figures, so that's great. He does have single jointed elbows, which means that we probably won't be able to get a lot of range of motion. Nope. That's a little disappointing. His hands also have sort of that similar effect where he doesn't get much kind of bend in that hand movement. He's got an ab crunch, which doesn't really do much when you have that much meat on you. He has a single knee joint. So let's see if I can get this guy to bend a bit.
Or at all. It's a tough one.
All right, there we go. You could get some bend out of it. He's a new fig, so I figured he might be a little tough to bend for me.
It's a lot of bulky plastic there. Yeah.
And then he's got just a simple joint there at the ankle where you can get a little bit of movement back and forth.
No pivoting.
Barely. You can get
it'll rotate, but
it'll rotate, but it won't.
It won't pivot.
Yeah. And then obviously McFarlane's signature toe joint at this point. But yeah, and finally, another mouth opening figure.
I do like the mouth opening.
And honestly, it's nice because McFarlane doesn't give you the option of multiple heads. So it's nice to have some figures that have it.
Yeah.
I'd prefer you either give us multiple heads or give all figures away to get their faces in a little bit more of a change. But all in all,
you can't really do it without it being some type of monstrous sculpt, though.
Yeah.
Like, if Superman had a hinged jaw, it would look horrible.
I don't know. And the head is not that, like, y'all should have known. Y'all should have known. This head wasn't going to go nowhere. This head is meant for looking straight on at its enemy with mouth wide the fuck open. All right, so we got good old Soups here. Superman. If you haven't watched our video earlier this week, we talked about how Batman and Superman first met each other. So definitely go check that out if you've got a free moment there. Yeah, look at this guy. Kind of basic as fuck, if I'm being honest.
It's the classic look, but yeah, there's not a lot going on there.
It's simple plastic. Paint does look really good on that emblem, though. That emblem pops right off the chest.
Yeah.
The cape does look really good. It's pretty flexible, so you'll be able to get some movement out of it. And then the face, I'm 50-50 with. As we've talked, he's not great at faces. And the face is definitely all right.
Yeah, it's not horrible, but it's not something you can really brag about either.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, you have the nice little curly Q there. It's a nice iconic Superman curly Q. You've got double jointed shoulders. That doesn't get very high because of the cape. Got a bend.
Womp, womp.
Well, all right. Well, this arm was not bending earlier, and it looks like we pushed it to its limits. Okay.
By barely messing with it.
Single jointed elbows, so you're not going to get much flex out of that.
And that's just disappointing. And I know this is a remake of the very first line that he released back in 2020. And they are doing double jointed elbows on the newer Superman molds. But they just released this one, so why couldn't they have made some swap outs? We really needed double jointed elbows.
Got a nice little ab crunch here, nothing spectacular. He does have double jointed knees, which works out great. But I do also want to draw attention to the fact that his kneecaps are a different blue than his legs.
Yeah,
A very standout look.
that's disappointing. They look like strained plastic, but that's not what's happening. They're just different color plastics.
And then the ball joint and the ankle kind of blends in a little bit, and then you do have your toe joint as usual. But yeah. So, one-armed Superman here. A little disappointed by a few of the things, but all in all, he could have been done a whole hell of a lot better.
He's a piece of shit.
But we do have a better Superman somewhere in the studio, I think. So we can compare it to a more newer Superman who doesn't run into those same issues. His face is still derpy as fuck.
Yeah, see, even though I don't think they nailed the mean look great for Clark Kent on the left, on the right is almost worse to me.
Yeah.
I don't like that face at all. It's just a bad sculpt.
I do want to point out his fists are a little bit larger in this
Fucking
version.
massive.
Like, they look
They're not proportional.
ridiculously large. But you do get the double jointed elbows, which you were talking about, and the S pops just as much as the other one, so the cape is a little bit more boring compared to the other one, but I think it's more of just based off the comics they came from versus the actual figure themselves. But yeah.
Can you hold those fists pointing towards the camera? That is just both of them together side by side. Who sits there and sculpts two Supermans that are in the same scale and thinks that that's okay?
Yeah.
That is horrible.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that unboxing video.
That was a lot of shit.
So much, and that's not even half the stack. I think we have so much more to do. So if you really enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, let us know if you want more unboxing content. We've got a few Marvel-related ones.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot more stuff over here. We just wanted to kind of consolidate as much as possible because that was a big unopening.
Yeah, and maybe once we're caught up with all of our big unboxings, we'll start doing some smaller ones. Like, I have an awesome Spawn Gunslinger I want to present. And didn't you have something cool you wanted to present?
I got a lot cool I want to present.
All right. Well, other than that, like we said, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun things. Go check out any of our older videos. If you like this kind of stuff, we've got plenty of videos on figures, as well as comics and MCU-related stuff. Anything else?
Nah, man. Later, Fanatics.